There's this great video on Upworthy which gives you an idea of the extent to which big money controls our politics.
The 2012 election was a record breaker. Contributions topped $6 billion, making it the most expensive election in U.S. history. So, who helped fuel this flood of money? There are about 314 million people living in the U.S. Of that population, about 25 million people gave money to politicians. But when analyzing data about who gives this money, we noticed there is one distinct political donor class that rises above in power and wealth. We call them the 1% of the 1%. Let's look and see the extraordinary influence this small fraction of Americans has on politics as we know it. These top donors accounted for 28% of all disclosed money in federal elections last year. Yet the 1% of the 1% is so small, it would not even fill half a football stadium. The 1% of the 1% gave $1.7 billion in 2012 to support candidates, campaign committees, political parties, and super PACs. Who knows how many of them gave to dark money groups? What does it take to be part of the 1% of the 1%? Give at least $12,950 and you're in the club. We expect that figure to rise in 2014. And while the 1% of the 1% is a very small group of Americans, their money supported every U.S. representative and senator elected to Congress last year. These mega donors have effectively become the financial gatekeepers of who can and cannot run for public office. Now, it is more important than ever to have real-time disclosure rules around campaign contributions.
Yeah, I disagree. We shouldn't just increase our transparency laws. We should eliminate the problem of the cancer in our political system, which is the fact that corporations and special interests and the rich can buy the politicians. I mean, make no mistake about it. This is legal bribery. We have legalized a system of bribery in the U.S., and it's happened over a few generations, actually, because the Supreme Court has ruled. There's been 3 or 4 Supreme Court rulings over the years, the most recent one being Citizens United, that they've just solidified the fact that money equals free speech. So guess what? If money equals free speech, then of course the person with the loudest voice in a democracy is gonna be the richest. It's no surprise that the Koch brothers always get their way because they have a metric fuck ton of money. And look, it doesn't matter whether you're a conservative or a liberal or whatever. Nobody wants just a small group of people determining our politics and our policies, and that's what happens. I mean, it's not even really a democracy anymore at that point. It's like we're a kleptocracy, or a plutocracy, or an oligarchy. All those are similar political science terms, which basically mean government of, by, and for the rich. So, I mean, this is an issue that we could all unite. You know, Republicans can unite with Democrats, and we could all get on the same page here and change this. And it would make it so that if we actually were able to get the money out of the system, it would make it so that we actually have a real political debate going on in the country. Right now, it's kabuki theater. You know, any rank-and-file Republican or Democrat can debate each other, but the politicians don't care about the actual substantive debate on the issue itself. What they care about is a debate between their donors. They're both debating what each of their donors want, and they're trying to get the best policy simply for their donor. I mean, look at just a few basic facts here. 91% of the American people wanted a universal background check for guns. That's a majority of independents, Democrats, Republicans, gun owners, and NRA members. But we didn't get a background check bill. Why? Because the gun manufacturers funded the leadership of the NRA, and the leadership of the NRA funded the politicians to block it. So the money was the only deciding factor. The minimum wage, 80% of the American people want to raise the minimum wage. Again, majority of Democrats, Republicans, and independents. But we haven't gotten a minimum wage raise yet. Why? Because the corporations are paying the politicians. The corporations are the only group of people that don't want a minimum wage increase. This isn't rocket science. Follow the money and you'll see why the politicians vote the way that they do. And the way to get the money out of the system, I plug this a lot, but I still don't plug it nearly enough, is what my partners at the Young Turks are doing. They have a PAC. It's called Wolf PAC. And they're just basically doing a movement to amend the Constitution. You know, going state by state, getting the state representatives to propose a constitutional convention, and they're going to get the amendment there, which is it makes sure that corporations aren't considered people under the law, and it also makes sure that money does not equal free speech. And I'm telling you, man, I'm optimistic in this sense. I'm optimistic in the sense that if we get that done, then honestly, almost overnight, we could solve many of the country's problems. Certainly over the course of a year, you would see many reforms that get through that are actually good for the American people. But until we do that, we're going to be smacked in the face with ridiculous facts like this one. I want to repeat this because it drives me crazy. The 1% of the 1% gave to every single representative and senator in Congress. Every single one is bought. They're all bought. So go to wolf-pack.com if you want to help make a difference.